Have you ever wondered what really happens when a beloved television show disappears from your screen without any real explanation? For over a decade, Bitchin rides gave car lovers a front row seat inside one of the most celebrated custom shops in the world. 11 seasons. More than 150 episodes. A fan base that stretched across continents. Then, in 2025, it was simply gone. Dave Kindig has finally spoken, and the truth behind why Bitchin rides ended is far bigger than most fans ever imagined. Stay with me until the very end, because this story has more layers than you'd expect. Before Bitchin rides became a television phenomenon, there was just a kid from Salt Lake City, Utah, drawing cars in sketchbooks and dreaming about metal, paint, and machines. Dave Kindig was born on February 6, 1971, into a working-class household where his father and uncles were always under the hood of something. While other kids were watching cartoons, Dave was studying bodylines, sketching wheel arches, and reworking anything he could get his hands on. By high school, he was already the guy friends turned to when they wanted their car to look like nothing else on the road. Here's what makes his story genuinely remarkable. None of it came from formal training. No automotive design degree. No prestigious art school. No institutional roadmap at all. Just raw talent, sharpened through years of obsessive practice. After finishing college with a bachelor's degree, he went straight to work at High Performance Coatings, spending 8 full years there building the technical foundation that would later define every single build at Kindig Design. That job took him across the country and gave him a real window into what was possible when skill met vision. In 1999, alongside his wife Charity, Dave founded Kindig Design from the ground up. Charity, who he'd married back in July 1992 after meeting her at a dance club, co-founded the business with him and eventually became vice president. The shop started small, just 2 people and a relentless work ethic, but word spreads fast in custom car circles. And once a name starts attaching itself to builds that look unlike anything else on the road, attention arrives quickly. Within years, Kindig Design had grown from a small garage into one of the most recognized custom shops in the entire country. The awards followed soon after. The GM Design Award came in 2007. The Master Builder Award arrived in 2012. The Ford Design Award followed in 2013. Each recognition added another layer to a reputation that was clearly heading somewhere significant. Clients began arriving not just from Utah, not just from the United States, but from everywhere. The builds commanded serious investment, often reaching 6 figures, because clients understood they weren't buying a restoration. They were commissioning a piece of craftsmanship that carried Dave Kindig's signature in every panel, every line, every coat of paint. While Dave focused on the builds, Charity managed the business side with a steady hand, keeping schedules on track and the growing company financially sound. It was a partnership that worked because each person understood their role completely. And as the years passed, the business became more than a workplace. It became a family legacy. Their children, Bailey and Drew, grew up surrounded by classic cars and the unmistakable smell of hard work, eventually finding their own place inside the company. What started in a modest garage was quietly becoming a multi-generational story. Through all of that growth, one thing never changed. Dave's philosophy stayed remarkably simple. Every vehicle deserved its own personality. Every build deserved innovation. He refused to take shortcuts, refused to settle for ordinary, and refused, ever, to build the same car twice. That single rule became his signature. And before long, word of what was happening behind those garage doors reached far beyond local car enthusiasts. It reached television producers. What happened next would change everything, taking a family business from a quiet Salt Lake City garage to millions of screens around the world. But trust me, the story is just getting started. The television chapter began in 2014, when Bitchin Rides premiered on Velocity, the automotive-focused network that would later rebrand as Motor Trend. The idea was simple, but the execution was extraordinary. Each episode followed Dave and the Kindig design crew through a complete build cycle, from the first client meeting all the way to the final reveal. No other show at the time gave viewers that level of access to the actual process. And the chemistry on screen was genuine. Dave brought the creative vision. Kevin Sheila, known as KevDog, brought the leadership and shop foreman precision that kept everything on schedule. Will Lockwood handled fabrication with technical mastery that serious car people respected immediately. And Ryan D. Cole's paint jobs routinely stole the spotlight in every single episode. The show quickly became Velocity's most popular series, and that says everything about how deeply it connected with people. Viewers weren't watching manufactured drama. They were watching real craftsmen face real problems, parts that didn't fit, timelines that demanded creative solutions, clients with big visions and bigger expectations. When velocity became mode trend, the audience followed without missing a beat. The show even crossed oceans, airing in the UK and Ireland as Kindig Customs, in Italy as Salt Lake Garage, and across Australia and New Zealand on Discovery Turbo. A show that began in one shop had become a global conversation about automotive art. Season after season delivered builds that pushed further. The CF1, a limited production custom line inspired by the 1953 Chevrolet Corvette, became one of the most striking concepts to come out of the shop during the show's run. By the time Season 10 wrapped up, the series had delivered over 130 episodes and remained one of the most reliable draws in automotive television. Nothing in the numbers suggested an ending was coming. But forces working far outside Salt Lake City had already set that ending in motion, and they had absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the builds. What happened next shocked the entire automotive television world, and it starts with a merger most fans never saw coming. On November 1st, 2024, Dave posted a bittersweet message confirming what no fan wanted to hear. Bitchin Rides would end with Season 11. The post was honest and heartfelt, but the real reason behind the ending required context that went far beyond anything happening inside that shop. As Kindig It Design later explained directly, the answer traces back to one of the largest media mergers in recent history. In April 2022, Warner Media and Discovery merged to form Warner Bros. Discovery, a media giant operating at massive scale. That merger triggered a restructuring process that rippled through every network and streaming platform the new company controlled. Motor Trend had its own dedicated streaming service called Motor Trend Plus, built specifically for automotive fans, and it carried the full library of every Bitchin Ride season. That platform did not survive the consolidation. In February 2024, Warner Bros. Discovery announced Motor Trend Plus would shut down completely, with its content folded into Discovery Plus and Max by the end of March 2024. The dedicated digital home that had supported Motor Trend programming simply ceased to exist. Insiders pointed to budget pressures and a much larger content portfolio competing for space, and that environment made survival far harder for niche automotive shows. Kindig It Design said it plainly. Season 11 was the final season because of the merger and the streaming shakeup that followed, not because of anything the team did or didn't do. That distinction matters enormously. Too often, when a beloved show disappears, people assume internal conflict or creative burnout. Neither applied here. Dave and his team were still building award-winning cars, still drawing loyal viewers, still operating with the same energy that defined the very first season. The ending came from the outside, from corporate restructuring far beyond their control. And here's where the story gets even more incredible, because Season 11 did not feel like a show running out of ideas at all. Season 11 aired through June 2025, and it felt like a team working at full creative capacity. The finale, titled Stay Bitchin, aired on June 11, 2025, closing 11 seasons with the same craftsmanship and heart that had defined the show since Episode 1. And tucked into that final chapter was a build that had been quietly underway for years before any camera caught it. The 12 Air, a 1953 Corvette-inspired custom built entirely from aluminum, took over 4 years of intensive work inside the shop. It was built specifically to compete at the 2024 Detroit Autorama, and to qualify, it had to remain completely hidden from public view. Even a single leaked photo could have disqualified the entire entry. Baylor Kindig later reflected on just how demanding that secrecy was, with an entire team working for years without a single image escaping. So did the sacrifice pay off? It absolutely did. The 12 Air won the Don Riedler Award, the single most prestigious recognition in the entire custom car world, leaving judges and competitors speechless. It went on to win further recognition at Hot August Nights in 2025 too, cementing an achievement that already sat at the very top of the industry. As of 2025, Dave Kindig's net worth is estimated between $12 and $13 million, a figure built on creative reputation rather than mass production. Builds from Kindig It Design regularly command $200,000 or more, and clients seek the shop specifically because nothing else on the market can replicate what comes out of it. So with the television show over, what happens now? The answer arrived clearly. The shop isn't slowing down at all. In January 2026, Kindig It Design launched Kindig All Access, an official YouTube channel that takes the behind-the-scenes format of Bitchin Rides and expands it into something television could never accommodate. New episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday at noon Mountain Time, following builds in real time with far more detail than a compressed TV episode ever allowed. The very first extended series follows a complete ground-up redesign of a 1969 Camaro, walking viewers through every single decision along the way. Dave has also confirmed an appearance at SEMA 2026, the apparel line keeps growing, and the CF1 production line keeps moving forward exactly as it has since 1999. The television chapter closed. But the real story, the craftsmanship, the creativity, and the refusal to ever settle for ordinary, never actually stopped for a single day. What Bitchin Rides built over 11 seasons wasn't just an audience. It was a community that understood what it meant to care deeply about the way a car looks and feels and carries the vision of the person who built it. That community didn't disappear when season 11 ended. It simply moved with Dave Kindig into whatever comes next. And based on everything the shop has shown since the camera stopped rolling, what comes next is going to be worth watching just as closely.